It's our honor and with excitement that we are here to announce the Wells Fargo Regional Foundation grant of the Delaware Gardens Neighborhood Initiative. And so we have a special welcome for Wells Fargo. We have Crystal Dundas and Kimberly Allen here. And also welcome to our elected officials, both county, Pensacola, our partners, our Urban Promise founder, and even some of our most precious resources. We have a couple of young people here today. And it's for them and their future that we're here and why we entered into this community development project. And it's also for them that we got our start right here in the Delaware Gardens neighborhood 27 years ago. And you'll hear more shortly on the effort and on really the youth foundation to the effort from our wonderful project director, Betsy McBride. We thank Pensacola for sharing her with us. We promised to share well, right? And Betsy was instrumental throughout the whole planning process. So it's one of our highlights of entering in to the community development was to meet Betsy, or Deputy Mayor, and she's been so instrumental. So we hope you enjoy the program today, and if you can, please stay for the tour afterwards. Many of you will remember the old St. Paul's Gym, I think, is how it's most fondly referred to in Pensacola. But we've finished a major renovation right here in this neighborhood, and I think you'll be really pleased to see kind of the beautiful renovation and see the gym back in action again. So thank you so much for coming out, but even more so what you've done and what you will do to make this community development project meaningful for the people, the residents of this neighborhood. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Dina, and thank you all for being here. Thank you for your confidence in me. I really felt that it was important to, when approached by Open Communities to consider this grant project, at least the planning process, the revitalization plan for this area, that I wanted to be involved, and I'm happy that some of our steering committee members are here. It was a lengthy process, and we did get through it. And then actually Wells said, it's a really good plan. You really should try to go after the implementation. Okay, so many of you aren't familiar necessarily with the project area. And if you look at this map, you'll see that it's on the border of Camden City and Pensacola Township. It encompasses right where you see the raised hands. That's exactly where Urban Promise's campus is right here. And it goes all the way down 36th Street, over River Road, and then back up Browning and all the way to 130. It's a large swath, doesn't necessarily look that big, but it is. And the little orange cutout is some strange redistricting that the state did at some point. So that's actually Camden on the border of Pensacola and Camden. The Delaware Gardens neighborhood is actually one of the most ethnically diverse communities or neighborhoods in the Philadelphia region. And actually the Latino population increased from the 2000 to 2010 census by 53%. So now it is our majority population in this area. So in October 2011, that's when Wells Fargo gave us the $65,000 to work on the revitalization plan. Many of you have seen a copy of it. It is available online. It is available at the township building. It creates a lot of data. It's 100 pages. It talks about current conditions in the neighborhood. It talks about the demographics of the neighborhood. And it relies on resident input, which was a requirement of Wells to make sure that we took a look at what do the people want. And we created a neighborhood revitalization plan. So there were 5 major components of the plan. I called them my little octopus. They should have 8, but they each have multiple components within them, or action steps. Youth and family, one of the areas of interest in the residential community was that we address the needs of young adults to get jobs. So with our partner, Boat People SOS, we will do a job training program and employ between 6 to 25 youth over the summer in Pennsauken businesses. Community identity is to try to bond people together within this community. It's multi-ethnic, and we want people to understand their differences but come together as community. We have community organizing, we have block cleanups, we have people trying to discuss and build around diversity and history of the neighborhood. Public realm is where government gets involved, and it's a very key part because we have county roads, we have municipal areas of responsibility. We want to do work in parks, we want to plant trees, we want to bring people out into the community to do projects, but we need the support of the government officials to do that. And it's roads, it's multi-use trails, it's stoplights, it's curbing, it's street improvements, but also a very interesting part is called Street 2 Leaders. And I'm very thrilled to have already done a pilot program with them, and that is kids who have had brushes with the law, they have court directives, they have either fines, probation, or service hours, and they come together and we employ them for half of the day, and the other half of the day they work on options, which would be, if you don't have a GED, you're going to go after a GED. You're going to go over to Hispanic Family Services and they're going to help you work on a resume. You're going to talk about job readiness, and then they will launch out of the program into good paying jobs. The business corridor is challenged in Camden and in Pennsauken. Westfield Avenue has some vacant properties. We really struggled in the planning process to get the business community involved in the planning, and we got one businessman, one Carlos Rodriguez, who came out and wanted to be involved. So the work there was a little bit more minor in terms of what the residents wanted, but really can enhance the neighborhood quite a lot if we can pull the businesses together, support them, look for grants for property improvements, and do better code enforcement when they are letting their properties go down. And our public safety is to work with the police to have more trust in the police department and resident community, as well as ways to prevent crime, prevent risky behavior from getting you into trouble, have municipalities or for instance, there's a troublesome area that New Jersey Transit has that needs to be mowed, and a girl was almost assaulted there. She was abducted, but her uncle actually came along at that moment and saved her from this abduction. So overgrowth areas that have not been trimmed down many times are areas of potential crime, and so those are working together to get those things done. So after the plan was done, Wells said, well, why don't you try for the implementation funds? And that was a very cumbersome application. It took 2 years to do it. It was 2 phases. It was beautifully done, but it was very complex. And it really did want to build a public-private nonprofit partnership that we saw as their drive to make sure that the projects that they invested in had sustainability, not just for the 5-year project, but into the future. Budgeting categories, it seems like for a 5-year project, you might not have that much money to do all the things you want to do. But it's job training, it's to hire 3 staff, youth and young adult stipends, and the spirit building, our food co-op program, our housing counseling program, and our community meals. Clean up supplies and activities. If we're going to be doing something around town, we need to have the resources, the tools, the things that we need to pull together those activities. And emergency assistance and overhead. So here are some of the accomplishments so far. We barely launched the project, and in that pilot program for working with the Street 2 leaders, they've done the mural across the street. They've done graffiti removal, and studies have shown that zero tolerance on graffiti really does prevent graffiti from reappearing. And so as soon as we see it, we go out with a can of paint, ask the homeowner or property owner if it's okay if we paint it over. Of course, they're thrilled, and we take care of it. And they're creating the tree inventory, which will determine where we're going to clean and green around Pensauken's target area of Delaware Gardens. Also, highway cleanups. You might have seen our team on 130, and you might have seen them on Westfield Avenue, and you might have seen them on 36th Street with the help of Public Works. Thank you, Bernie. We went out there after the county mowed. Everything was little pieces of trash, and they went with the grabbers and collected the trash. Daffodil plantings. So it's going to be wonderful to look around town when spring comes and see all the daffodils that have been planted. Also, our food co-op opened. Food co-ops are different from food distribution centers. People become members, and they share the responsibility of running the co-op, and that's across the street in the Spirit Building. And on the first day, we distributed 1,152 pounds of food. We're also doing locally grown produce, teaching people how to use acorn squash or butternut squash, having some demonstrations there, talking about good nutrition, and having the opportunity to build community because of the group coming together on a weekly basis. So they'll shop once a week, but have only 2 to 4 hours a month that they will volunteer for the co-op. So that's it. I wanted to keep my part short. We're gathering to launch this project, and we are very thrilled that Wells has seen fit to bring it to Pensauken, and in conjunction with Urban Promise and the many partners that are here today. At this time, I would like to thank you. At this time, I would like to bring up Urban Promise's founder, Bruce Main. As Dina said, it is very exciting. They've been in and around Camden and Pensauken for over 25 years, and they're definitely doing things right, and we're very happy to partner with them.
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming out. My name is Bruce Main, and it's a thrill to be here to thank Wells Fargo for this great gift and what your vision is and what you're doing in this community. 18 years ago, I got a phone call one day. It was from the pastor of this church. And we had started our work just down the street in a little church basement called Rosedale Baptist. He called me and said, "You want to buy our church?" I said, "Well, I'd like to look at it before I buy it." So I came up, he toured me around, and it was almost a full city block. At one point, I asked him how much he wanted. Guess how much we bought this city block for? Anybody want to guess? $225,000. Now, where in America can you get a city block for $225,000? This is not Malibu, California. So we were able to purchase this, which seemed like an incredible amount of money at the time, but never did we imagine that this would become an oasis of hope, a place of safety for young people. Never did we imagine that we would birth 2 schools. Never did we imagine that we would birth a wellness center. Never did we imagine that we would become the largest private employer of teens in the city of Camden and in this area. Never did we imagine that we'd convert an old bar into a high school. And never did we imagine that we would start a food co-op and transform an old 100-year-old gym into a beautiful youth center. So this gift has allowed us to take that next step, to create this corner of Pensauken and Camden, a place where young people can come and find nourishment and hope, where families can come and get food and counsel and guidance and education. So thank you for this great gift, and it's a privilege to be part of this.
Now I'd like to introduce my colleague, Jack Killian, Mayor of Pensauken.
Boy, there are a couple tough acts to follow there. What a great day. As I sit here listening to my fellow speakers and sit around the room and look at the quality of people that are in this room and looking what's happened in this place for the last 20-some years, 18 years before you purchase the building, but more importantly, what happens here what you do for our community and Camden's community. You know, we try to be good neighbors, not only to Camden, but to our other bordering, Merchantville, our other bordering towns, because you have to. You've got to be good neighbors to make things work and things go. And we all have the same interest. We all have the same problems. And we want to build and rebuild things that need to be improved. And I'll tell you what, you couldn't put a better group of people together than the people that are doing this. Wells Fargo, it's just amazing what you're doing. To donate that amount of money, we say thank you, and if you don't get the message, thank you. That is wonderful. On behalf of our youth, because, you know, if we had an urban promise, and every so often strategically placed in neighborhoods, and if we had a Wells Fargo that would partner, if we had deputy mayors like Betsy McBride that, you know, was all about clean and green and picking things up and sprucing things up. I mean, she is just one of the most determined people that we have encountered. We joke about her. We have a nickname, but we won't put a tight end if she gets upset. But the point here is, and also working with the county, we can't do a lot of things without the county and the state help. But everybody needs to do, you know, it takes a village, you know, and this is the village. This is the concept. This is working out well. So we're certainly going to do our part. My fellow colleagues on Township Committee, along with Betsy, along with Urban Promise, along with Wells Fargo, along with the county, okay, and along with other people that are here that are going to get up and speak and tell about their part. It's just truly an honor to be here, to represent our town, to be associated with some good people. And I just want to say this, I'll simplify and wrap up with this. There's good people here doing great things. So how about a big round of applause for everybody in this room. So without further ado, I'm going to ask our county freeholder to come up, Michelle Intek. Come on, Michelle. How about a big round of applause for
Thank you so much. So on this gloomy day, doesn't something like this just make you so happy? It's not a gloomy day today because this is just a wonderful project. I'd like to congratulate the mayor, the deputy mayor, council, Urban Promise, and Wells Fargo. Congratulations to all the partners who will be involved, and congratulations to all the residents who were involved in putting this together. What a great program. To Wells Fargo, I thank you so much for recognizing that communities can't do it on their own, and they need financial help. So we thank you so much for recognizing that and for being there. Foundations are how communities grow, so we thank you so much for all your support. So what I'm going to tell you about is how the county is going to be able to help out. So we have an Office of Sustainability, which is a fairly new department that we implemented. And with that, we have a sustainable director. His name is Chris Waldron. We have Erin Green, who now joined the team, so we're very excited, and she will be involved in a lot of this project as well. So we are part of the public realm. We are going to help, what we do in our department is we help all 37 municipalities in becoming a cleaner and greener community. And with that said, some of the things that we have done in Pennsauken and are working on is that we are putting up, we realize that 36th Street in Ruderow is a traffic hazard. The speeds are way too fast. People can't cross the streets. Children have been injured. So we now are putting up a pedestrian light. Thank you. Where they'll be able to press the button and they have 20 seconds to cross. We are putting up pedestrian signs. We're doing curb cutouts to make them handicap accessible. And so when Betsy said that we're looking at the roads and the safety, because there's a lot of things you have to look at. It's your safety first, it's your education, and it's making sure that the environment is healthy to make your residents healthy. And what they say about Betsy is right, that she is so into the clean and green initiatives. That's my passion, and I thank you so much for working with us on this. To Pennsauken, okay, I'm not allowed to pick favorites. However, I am going to say that you are definitely leaders in what you do. And what I love about you is that you don't really need the praise. You just do it because you're such kind people. And they all know I just love working with all of you because it is such a kind community. And for you to reach out and care about your neighbors and parts of Camden, to care about everybody there, that's amazing, because you could just forget about them, but you don't. You know that they're your family, and that's what I love about this county, is that we're trying to bring it together to make sure everybody works together. So I thank you for that. So we are going to work with our green initiatives. We'll work on the tree projects with you. We're going to work on the trails and the parks because of the multi-use plan, trail plan. So know that we are here to help you. And that any part of it that you need guidance, we will help you with any consultation. We also will do any physical projects that you will need done. So know that the freeholders are here to help. We love the project. We thank Wells Fargo, and we thank all of Pennsauken.
I think now is the time for us to bring up Kim Allen, a wonderful person from Wells Fargo. She's the Senior Vice President of the Wells Fargo Regional Foundation, and it's the moment we've all been waiting for.
Thank you, Betsy, and to all of the speakers who have gone before me. It is a tough act to follow. But thank you. As Betsy said, my name is Kimberly Allen. I'm the Senior Program Officer at the Wells Fargo Regional Foundation, and I'm joined by my colleague, Crystal Dundas. And I can speak for both of us to say we're absolutely thrilled to be here today. And ever since we were introduced to Urban Promise, we've been so inspired by the tremendous work that Urban Promise does with children in Pennsauken and Camden. But this is a very exciting afternoon for the Delaware Gardens neighborhood. And I know that many of you here, many of you who have spoken, and the steering committee members and so on, have been partnering with the team here at Urban Promise for the past couple years to develop a plan to take this neighborhood and all who love it to the next level. The Delaware Gardens Neighborhood Plan embodies the vision of residents and the leaders of this community. At the Wells Fargo Regional Foundation, we partner with neighborhoods all over Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware to help build their visions for the future. We know that neighborhood revitalization starts with passionate residents and dynamic leadership, but it also takes significant resources and a lot of hard work. We are really thrilled to have the opportunity to partner with Urban Promise and all of the residents of the neighborhood because of your true commitment to neighborhood change. So that's why today I'm very excited to announce that the Board of Directors of the Wells Fargo Regional Foundation has awarded Urban Promise a neighborhood implementation grant to support the implementation of the Delaware Gardens Neighborhood Plan. And that grant is in the amount of $710,000.